What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Mack.
And it's your boy Curtis, aka the Miles Morales, the Mike's Peter Parker. I
Realize-
shouldn't it be the other way around since I'm older than you? Are you?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah, I'm black and a slightly lighter version of black. And welcome to the Black Hills Podcast. We will be it's not really for the podcast.
No, this isn't an official podcast. This is more so a movie review. Like, we both recently watched Spiderman No Way Home. So this is kind of like just our review and our thoughts of the movie. The beginning part, I promise, will be no spoilers. We'll let you know when we actually start talking about the spoilers.
She died, but yeah.
Technically, that's not a spoiler because you don't know who died. So, see? Loophole.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's start with the premise of the movie. It takes place right after the second movie, so Mysterio reveals Parker's identity to the world, which is that really a bad thing? Cause
Obviously, but
everyone knows Tony's Iron Man. Everyone knows Steve is Captain America.
Yeah, these are somebody who's over 80 years old. Who cares? And
True.
A big
billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Whatever. So, dude who has no attachments, rich nigga. Yeah. Mix that in with broke high schooler.
Okay, true. So because of that, Peter's life's all ruined. His girlfriend's life is ruined. His friend's life's ruined. His family's life is ruined. So he goes to Doctor Strange and asks him,
figurative and literal.
Right? That's actually really nice that they've started dating for real. Yeah. But he goes to Doctor Strange and asks, hey, can you make people forget I was Peter Parker? So Doctor Strange I said Peter Parker, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, everyone forget that Peter was Spider-Man. So Strange actually helped out, but during the spell, Peter was like, oh wait, MJ's gonna forget about me? No, we can't have that. So he edits the spell. Wait, what about Ned? He's gonna forget to know, and edits the spell. What about Aunt May? And then all of a sudden, the spell is ruined, and that causes villains from other universes to come to his universe. So now he has to stop them.
That's more Strange than Peter, I feel. It's like, come on, bro. Where's your mental fortitude? Where's your discipline?
I mean, he was trying.
It's like, come on, bro. How many complicated things do you do in a day that you can't get bothered by one high schooler?
But think about it, if you're doing something really important and someone's nagging you, wouldn't that kind of make you get you distracted?
Toughen up. But either way, so after that, all that happens, then you have this situation where Peter, he just has to try to figure out a way to fix the broken reality that him, mainly Strange, created.
Okay, I feel like it was 60-40, 60 Peter, 40 Strange.
Yeah, 70-30. But yeah.
Wait, who's the 30, who's the 70?
You'll never know. But
oh man. So just off the bat, so some of the villains that came through, Green Goblin and Doc Ock from the Raimi Spider-Man movies, and then Lizard and Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man universe. So those are mainly the big bads of the movie.
And Sandman.
And Sandman too. Jesus, this is a lot of villains.
It's 6 of them, literally.
Jesus Christ.
It's the Sinister Six, just handled a different way.
That actually is really interesting when we think about it.
Anyway.
But so for my opinions on the movie, I honestly really enjoyed it. One thing I do appreciate, this is the first movie where I kind of felt that Tom Holland Spider-Man kind of felt like that true Spider-Man loss. When Spider-Man loses Uncle Ben. Okay, in Raimi Spider-Man, Peter lost Uncle Ben. In the Amazing series, Spider-Man lost Gwen. But I never felt like Tom Spider-Man felt that loss.
He lost both. I mean, it's not what's always spoiled part, but he lost both.
Come on, in the Amazing universe?
Yeah. It's like...
That was double dose for him, then.
Yeah, but whatever.
But for for Peter in this one, I felt like him, he finally got to have that loss and that feel that Spider-Man emotion.
This kind of feels like a spoiler.
Not necessarily.
Whatever. But yeah, so
like I said, we don't know who.
That people are smarter than that. But yes, I mean, overall, honestly, one of my favorite movies ever. It was really fun. I don't know. The only complaint I had was the comedy part was hit and miss. Normally miss, but when it did hit, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
I mean, I actually didn't mind the humor that much. I feel like it was a lot of humor, but isn't it what Spider-Man kind of?
Yeah, I just think some of the things they tried to, I don't know, like some of the ways it was delivered, just wasn't all that funny to me sometimes. Yeah, but then when I was like, it's like when they wanted to be funny, it wasn't funny, and then when they let it naturally happen, it was hilarious.
See, as much as I loved the movie, there's just one part I just couldn't get past. Like, the movie really wouldn't have happened had Peter didn't mess up the spell.
Well, yeah, it's the whole point.
But I feel like it just took me out of it for a little bit.
It's like, wow, if Peter didn't go on this field trip, he would have never been Spider-Man.
No, but I feel like it was just an easy fix.
It's kind of it's just how a lot of things happen in these worlds. It's just like, if Tony never got kidnapped.
I know, but I just feel like, okay, I still like the fact that we got the movie.
Or Captain America, it's just like, if Rogers would have said no.
But I feel like in this situation, this was a little more like black and white. Like,
it's like a clear thing that messes it up, but it's also the part on Peter being a teenager.
I mean, that's also true.
So that was actually one of my that was a line that I don't know if I can say hit me kind of hard, but just kind of resonated with me a bit. When Strange messes up, he just looks at Peter. And he's just like, with everything we've been through, I sometimes forget that you're a teenager. Because it's like, yeah, Peter's done a lot. It's like helped out with a battle between Iron Man and Captain America, stole Captain America's shield, fought in space, stopped existing, came back to existence. It's a lot of stuff Peter's dealt with in his past, 4 or 5 years or so.
Just about, yeah. So even though it was kind of jarring for me, I still enjoyed the whole entire movie. This is probably one of the best MCU movies of all time. Do you think it's better than Infinity War and Endgame? 'Cause that's what some people are thinking.
I think that's just some overreactions.
You think so?
Personally, no. With the build up to those movies, of course not. Because there's a lot of payoff from those movies, and it's with this, it's kind of like another build up movie. But you still got more Spider-Man and stuff like that. With Endgame and Infinity War, that was the swan song to the Avengers.
Going back to the villains for a second, do you think the villains did a good job with the movie?
Listen, all this shit proved was that Gen 1 Spider-Man had the best villains. Let's be honest. Let's really be honest. Gen 1 Spider-Man villains carry.
Bro, are we treating this like Pokemon? Gen 1 was the best.
Sometimes you just gotta state facts. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go back to the basics sometimes.
I mean, you are right though, because Green Goblin and Doc Ock, they did amazing in the movie. They did a really good job.
No slight on. I mean, Spider-Man didn't really have his own villain. Tom didn't have his own villain. I had to say it correctly. Although, I mean, granted, Mysterio was actually pretty good in the last movie. But, Tom didn't have his own villain in this one. It was everybody else's villains. And, so it was it's those two were amazingly done. Yeah, and then Marco's, he's kind of messing it up. But he's kind of messing up the flow, but he still wasn't bad.
One thing I really did like, even though he didn't have his own villain, but his chemistry with MJ, I think, was a huge high point for me, because in the last two movies, I don't know, I didn't really feel them click in the last two movies that much.
I don't know, Zendaya's not really. Is it Zendaya or Zendaya? Are you supposed to say it?
Oh, Zendaya.
Oh, girl that needs a sandwich.
Wow.
I'm just saying, bro. She is skinny as hell. Real pretty. I always give her credit that she's really pretty. So I always support the people who say, "Oh, she's one of the prettiest ever." And it's like, yeah, she is really pretty. But yeah, I think just because she wasn't really an actor, but now that she's actually dating Tom Holland, it just came more natural.
But not even that is within the story itself. They never really the relationship didn't really hit it for me, because you look into other movies with Peter's love interests, You kind of felt it even at the beginning stage.
Well, I mean, the first movie, he was going after an entire different chick.
But you still kind of got that vibe, though. Like, they could still possibly hook up.
I thought the second movie, they had pretty good chemistry, but it was more so, instead of being romantic, like getting to know each other chemistry.
Well, I think with this one, it's like you said, she wasn't much of an actress, but I think she has improved throughout the films. So now, like, her emotion, you can see a lot more. And I think she was given a lot more to do this time around.
Yeah, so it's like when MJ's worried about her boyfriend, in danger, Zendaya could be like, yeah, I just gotta think about how my boyfriend is in danger.
But like, she still kept that dry humor, but she got to flex more of those emotions.
Yeah, so I think either way, I think she did pretty good. Ned's always been my controversial character. It's just like,
you don't like Ned?
I don't give a fuck about Ned. Like, I don't hate it. That's the funny thing. I don't hate his character. I legit just don't care.
I mean, but because of this movie, I am curious to see like where he would go next. Kinda. This because Ned, he kind of did step up a bit in this movie. So now because of that, I want to see what else he can do.
I will say that I did enjoy him in this one better than the first two. Like, I didn't not enjoy him in the first one, but I just felt like I was so focused in on Tom and Tony that I just didn't exactly care about it either. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mixture of just like all right, you ain't bad, but literally you don't matter. I was more so I was impressed with the fact that he hacked the suit, but then I was more so in just like, yeah, but let's now focus on the suit.
I mean, I'm just glad it didn't go to the whole stereotype of like, oh, Peter Parker's best friend becomes a villain. I'm glad he actually is just Peter's friend through the whole thing.
Hey man, there's still more Spider-Man movies, but
oh no, no, don't do that, man.
You ain't think about all that, did you?
I want them to stay friends.
Time will tell. But
but now, okay, we're gonna give you a spoiler warning. We're about to hit you with some crazy spoilers. We're gonna let you know who dies. We foreshadowed this at the beginning. We're gonna let you know who dies. So, major spoiler alert. If you don't want to be spoiled, please leave. Go watch the movie, then come back here and then welcome. So, right off the bat, all three Spider-Man were there. Andrew was there. Toby was there. All three of them together, bro. You
know what I actually was going to say, because you just responded a bit quicker.
What?
I was actually going to be like, Happy was fucking May. I forgot about that. I clean forgot about that
too.
So when he was at her door, I was like, the fuck is Happy doing? And then next thing you know, I was just like, oh, ew. That's right, May. Do better for yourself. Then I was just like, wait, I already knew this was a thing. Like,
apparently they broke up in the movie. And
I was just like, I wanted to forget. But then next thing you know, it was like, even when they went over to Happy's house, that's still in a recliner.
Oh man, but going back to the main thing, all three Spider-Men being in the movie, okay, when you first saw them together, what was your first thought?
I felt old.
Wow.
I really did. When Toby walked through, I was just like, yeah. It's been 20 years. I didn't even think about that with Octavius. I was just like, Octavius still got it, but then Toby really made me, because he still looks the same. Him and Defoe look the same. They were already, older. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Defoe was 40 when he did the movie.
Yeah, because he's 66 now.
Yeah, so he was 40 when he did the movie, and I think dude playing Octavius was late 30s. About to hit 40.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's they look exactly the same. But Toby just looked old.
Well, I will say, this quick shout out to Willem Dafoe for a second, because he's 66, but he literally said, he wasn't going to come back unless he did his own stunts. So, just mad respect for him for doing that.
For real. And he did really good. Especially with the fight scenes.
Right.
But yeah, I when I first saw the three of them together, it was just we made it.
We did it.
We should really throw in
I was thinking about that. No, but like, okay, the reason why I said earlier that like Ned stepped up, because apparently now Ned is a wizard where he can do the same thing that Doctor Strange does, open the portal.
Can't anybody do that though?
I mean, not really.
Yeah, like if you have his ring, why not?
I guess, but
so it's not like Strange was mystical.
So like he's trying to find Peter, well, Tom's Peter, and he's doing the spell, and the first person shows up is Andrew Spider-Man.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like when I first saw him, I was just like, oh cool. Because you gotta remember, I'm still in the mindset that this isn't gonna happen. So when I was just like, oh wow, that was easy. I think you would have been crying. And then like when he walked up, I was just like, his suit looks unnaturally okay. And then he walked through, and I was just like, oh my god, that's not Tom. and then he took the mask off, and like everybody went crazy.
Right. Like,
and the first thing that came to mind, you liar.
What?
Because remember, he kept denying it in all his interviews this year. Like, he was just like, I'm just sitting here like, someone was about to sue the shit out of him. If he would have said one thing, he would have got sued like crazy.
But it was so funny because like MJ was like, "Prove you're Peter." He just like jumps up.
I would have started getting upset with MJ. It's like, that doesn't prove anything. It proves enough. Like, how many people do you know that can do this? He was like, crawl on the roof, and he's just like, no, I'm not here to entertain you. I want to know what's going on. Like, I really resonated with Andrew. He was just like, bitch, I am in a whole nother world. If you don't leave me alone.
And then when Ned tried it again, and then this is when Toby shows up.
And then I was just like, yet again, crowd went insane. But then it was like, I was going insane too, but then I looked at him and I was just like, I hope you got paid, buddy. Because I could already tell. I was like, he definitely had to get in shape for this.
He really did. And it was funny too, because when they was getting ready to leave, Andrew was like, so are you going to fight in your suit, or are you going to look like a church youth pastor?
Nah, that was hilarious. I swear to God, Andrew is the perfect like Spider-Man.
Oh my God. And honestly, like legit, watching this movie, it made me realize that, okay, even though I think his movies maybe been the weaker of like the Spider-Man franchise is, but Andrew, like Spider-Man as a character, just him just as a character, I think Andrew's the best.
Yeah, I think who, like Andrew's the best Spider-Man, but the reason is because he's just too cool to be Parker. like how he was handling the whole situation with MJ is not a Parker type thing. That's a Spider-Man thing. Just like crawl on the roof. Like, I'm not crawling on the roof. I'm hanging off the roof by my fingertips. I don't need to do anything else to prove myself. Peter would have just did it. But Andrew as Spider-Man is just like that Spider-Man is just like, bitch, leave me alone. Like, I'm about to web you if you don't leave me alone.
Bro, it was also funny, like Ned's grandma was there and she was like, can you like get the cobwebs off the ceiling?
And then it was like he had no choice but to start crawling on the roof. I would have been childish. I would have just been like, we good now? But nah, when they actually started trying to web each other, that part was fire.
That was amazing.
Like, they saw each other and they didn't even look like they were angry at each other. It was just like, I wonder if he can. I'm pretty sure he can, but let's just see if he got the skills. Or it was like it's like a dick measuring contest. Just like, I know I'm the better Spider-Man. Let me just test this out. Oh, he dodged. He dodged again.
I think the funniest part when all three of them get together is like, I forgot that Toby Spider-Man, his web shooters are, he makes it himself in his body. So when he shot it, everyone just freaks out and he's like, you can't do this. And they were like, no.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. That was I remember that was something that when it was originally changed, people had problems with, but then some people forgot that that was actually changed in the comics to where after Spider-Man went through his mutation of becoming like Man Spider, like he lost the ability to have the natural web shooter. Like serum that was made for him, that took that ability away. So he actually had to go and make his own web shooters. And so they just decided to just not go through that. in general.
Okay, and the thing I mentioned earlier when like Peter suffered, Tom's Peter suffered his, I guess his first major Spider-Man loss like on screen, is because with all the villains coming in, I forgot that Green Goblin technically has a split personality between him and Osborn. Like, Osborn is supposed to be like the nice guy, and Green Goblin is supposed to be like the evil one. So what Peter was trying to do was actually like cure them before sending them back.
Nah, May wanted to do that. Peter was like, "Yo, fuck this shit. They out." Like,
no, he was like that after what happens, but
no,
before that,
he did not want to help them at all. He was just like, "Yo, this is y'all problem. Y'all can go away."
Well, like the plan was working until Green Goblin like he snapped back into his evil self, and unfortunately during the battle he kills May. And honestly, like I thought he killed her instantly when it happened. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, she just like ate shit and she just splat on the ground. But she got back up, and at first I was like, bullshit. There's no way. But then I realized, oh, she's stumbling back down. Oh, she's losing blood. So I guess it was like that little bit of adrenaline, and it wore off, so she collapsed.
Yeah, more than likely.
But man, that was like the reason why I saw like that was Tom Spider-Man's first time feeling like dealing with that type of emotion. So when Andrew and Toby came, they was like, "Don't tell me you guys can relate," and they was like, "Yeah, man, we understand what you're going through right now."
And I remember my sister had an issue with that. She was like, "But they do understand." I was like, "Yeah, but you still don't want to hear that."
Yeah, I was like, you don't want to hear it. You know that they're right.
It's like, what is more bad news going to do for me right now? It's like, oh, somebody else died, like, that was important to me too. Like, yeah, sure, that helps me a lot, buddy. Yeah, you also agree. That's cool.
But I am glad that May was able to give him, like, the with great power comes great responsibility line. Because I realized that hasn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, they already kind of said it was going to happen, so I was just like, like, they already said it was going to be stated, so I kind of guessed when it was going to happen. And then once I heard her say it, that's when I was just kind of like, all right, yeah, she's definitely gone. I don't know. I think what I'm really happy about is the fact that a lot of people have not really complained about the fact that, like, Peter still went through trying to fix the problems of the villains, and it wasn't mainly just to do it just to do it. It was to prove her right. Like, that was the big point of that whole conversation of just like, May wasn't wrong, you were doing the right thing. Like,
it was that until he came face to face with Green Goblin again. Like, he was gonna kill him if Toby didn't intervene. He was gonna kill him.
Yeah, that glider was about to be in his vein for real.
But that kind of also like showed me like, yo, like, if I think Tobey Spider-Man is the strongest out of the three, like physically strong. Like, I think he's the strongest.
Possibly, because he definitely was holding that glider bag.
And he was straining. He was looking at him like, Peter, well, other me, no.
Peter one,
no.
We're just so messed up because they literally went in reverse order.
So I think like Andrew's Spider-Man is more agile. I think Toby's the strongest, but I think Tom's probably the most creative, and he also has more leadership experience being a part of the Avengers.
True that. No, that was hilarious. Just like, yeah, I fought with the Avengers.
Yeah, like, is that a band?
Like, y'all don't have the Avengers. Just like, no.
So like, out of
you get backup.
Oh man! But what was your favorite moment in the whole entire movie for you?
I have to say my favorite moment would have been right before they started working well together, because it kind of just showed like the chaotic side of having so many different Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man is such a freeform style of movement that it's like, if they're not coordinated, it could make a lot of problems. Like, I mean, Andrew webbed Toby. Tom was trying to swing, and Andrew like ran into his web, and like Tom was trying to grab something, then like Toby like got in the way. It's like, it's so chaotic that it's like you have to actually, it's so freeform that it's chaotic.
Well, that's why I'm glad like Tom had that leadership skills, because Toby and Andrew, they was always on their own, so it never really worked with anybody.
Exactly. So it was like a thing of showing like, I don't know, it was just cool to see like it was chaotic, and then that's, it was just like, okay, listen, we really got to work together. Like, don't rely on your senses, just spider sense. That's all you need. Tingly feeling, that's all you need. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, that part was funny though.
It was.
Like, do you have the tingly thing? I have the tingly thing. Why isn't it reacting? It doesn't react to bread.
For a small thing, like when Strange and Spider-Man fought, and like Strange like did the whole out of body thing, and Peter's body was still moving.
Yeah, because it reacts on instinct. So he was just like, "Oh, this is the most amazing thing in my life," but never do it again.
But also, like, quick thing, like, how do you feel about the fight between Strange and Spider-Man?
My boy won. That's all I know.
I still think, technically he did win.
Listen,
but like,
what was the objective?
I know what the objective was, but I still feel like if both of them went all out, if Doctor Strange actually was trying, he would have won.
Hey, that's like saying if Captain America was by himself, he wouldn't beat Tony.
What? Well,
Tony was doing pretty good by himself.
He was. You know
what I'm saying? Well, technically, it is still a 2-on-2.
But even like 1v1, he was still doing okay.
Yeah, but still though, it's like, I don't know. I just laughed at the part where he was just like, "Oh, this is geometry. You know geometry. You can do this." Like, and then it turned out to be correct. And then he caught Strange, and then it was just like, and then he came back and was. This is why I think Tom is like the perfect hybrid of both, because it's like he came back and he was just like, "Yo, I beat Strange. Oh my gosh, we was in this thing, and then I started getting him." He's like, "Wait, we gotta pay attention." But I beat Strange.
You know what's funny? Strange had a Loki moment. He was like, "I was hanging over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours." And Andrew, I think it was either Andrew or Toby was like, "You was at the Grand Canyon?
Yeah,
we could have used you."
Yeah, exactly. It was like, but that's what I'm saying. Like when they weren't trying to be funny, that's when it was hilarious, because you didn't need to. It was just like, because it's like natural. It was just like, oh, maybe because I was stuck at the Grand Canyon for 12 hours. It's like, oh, really? Huh? Well, ain't that nice? While you were sightseeing. He's like, no, he wasn't exactly sightseeing. I kind of whooped his ass. You didn't whip my ass. I won.
Oh, my God.
I won the objective.
Oh, man. But for me, my favorite moment was when MJ was falling, and it was almost like a reenactment of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Tom went to go save her, but he got knocked away by Green Goblin. And Andrew sees that, and he's remembering what happened to him. So he goes to catch her, but he actually dives and makes sure he himself caught her. And then when he did it, he's about to cry. He realized, damn, if I only saved Gwen like this. That hit me so hard seeing that.
I thought that was really great. And I don't know, I laughed. I laughed a little bit because I was just like, what if he says Gwen? Like, if he said Gwen, I would have just been like, he said our name. He'd be like, Gwen, MJ. Glad you're safe. You need anything?
I thought that would hurt even worse.
He'd be like, do you need a tissue? Like, no, I don't need a tissue. I have a match for that.
But like, my second small little favorite moment is actually at the very beginning, because no one really thought he was going to show up. But yo, Daredevil, he popped up.
Listen, all right. Hell's Kitchen met Queens. I was like, when he caught that brick,
and he's like, how'd you do that? Like, I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah, it's like that was just perfect, man.
Like, okay, so final question: what do you rate this movie?
I'd have to say like 9 out of 10, just because some of the comic parts just didn't really hit that well. Honestly, one thing that actually I didn't have an issue with was the whole Scooby-Doo this shit. I laughed at it.
I laughed at it too.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining about it, and I was just like, hey, it made me laugh. So, yeah, I mean.
But it kind of like, I don't know, it made me like Strange a little bit more.
It's more so you got to be in the moment to really laugh at it. You can't just hear it out of context.
I think for me, I'll give it a 9.5. I honestly loved this movie so much. I guess the only thing that took me out of it was like when the realization, like, Peter, you just could not have interfered with the spell. I mean, you could have got back with MJ, and Ned was your friend beforehand.
I feel like this still should have been something they should have like went through and did the specifics of it first before trying to do the spell. Because like Strange just kept pulling out things about the spell while he was doing it. It's like, yeah, then everybody will forget about you. Like,
oh man. But at least now that like everyone now fully forgets Peter, he can have his own story. I know at the end credit scene, like Venom was there. Tom Hardy's Venom was there. And before he disappeared, like the symbiote, some of it came off. So now we might get the black suit.
See the end credit scene.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't see the last one. I thought the Venom one was the last one, so we left. Then I found out, they did the teaser for Doctor Strange. I'm like, damn it, I missed it. So apparently, like, Doctor Strange goes to this weird place, and Wanda's there. So that sets up his movie. And then the first one was Tom Hardy's Venom just talking to some random dude. And he's playing, like, there was a flying Tin Man in a suit. Because Iron Man is like, there's a purple alien? Like, what the fuck? Then he disappears, but some Senio stays, and it moves. So now if they do a Spider-Man 4, it'd probably be like the black suit arc.
No dance, hopefully.
Hopefully it should be a nice throwback if we did the dance.
No. Well, Tom Holland would probably make it cool. But, like, overall, though, like, amazing movie. They really touched on a lot of things. They did some great callbacks. Like, oh, wait, we really got to talk about the villains. Like, honestly, we were running a bit longer than what we wanted to, but still, we got to talk about the villains. Defoe.
MVP. He
Defoe was the shit. Like, he needs to just change his name to the shit. Like, he was amazing.
He reminded me, like, why he is one of the best comic book villains ever.
Well, he doesn't remind me of, like, why he's one of the best actors ever, because, like, he legit was just killing that whole role. Like, especially, like, how quickly he could switch it. Like, when he got hit with the serum, and then he was like, it was like, oh God, what did I do? It was like, you were just insane. but no, even before that, Octavius, like,
hello, Peter.
Octavius, he was so smooth.
Wait, quick question: wouldn't he still die? I know, like, they did everything to make sure they don't die, but I remember he said the last thing he remembers was grabbing Peter by the throat. And I went back and looked at Spider-Man 2, and that's when, like, the little sun he was creating was, like, getting ready to blow. So wouldn't he still die a good man though?
Hey man, you gotta worry about all these things.
I guess so, but it's made me think about
that.
They
had to fix him, not save him. But
he still dies though. He still
he dies a good person.
But he was already going to die a good person. That's right. See, it makes you think a bit.
Well, now he has no way home. But
hey, I like you did that.
But no, actually,
I think the weakest villains was obviously Lizard and honestly Lizard and Sandman. Jamie Foxx did a good job as Electro.
Jamie Foxx was hilarious.
He was so funny.
He was hilarious.
It was funny, like he said, I wish there was a black Spider-Man.
Plus his outfit was fire.
But did you like smile a bit when you said, "I wish there was a black Spider-Man"?
Yeah,
like, look, but Miles will be here one day.
Yeah, just like maybe no. Wait, Jamie only has a daughter. Never mind. But no, I think when it really comes to the villains, man, it was like it really showed that Doc Ock and William Dafoe really started this whole series off best. I mean, give Harry his props. Sandman really wasn't bad in Spider-Man 3. He really wasn't. He was actually pretty good. He was very relatable too.
Yeah.
He was also relatable in this one a bunch of times too. He was just like, yeah, I just have a daughter I want to go back to. Like, that's all I care about. Like, leave me alone. I mean, Lizard, yeah, he's not even one of the best Spider-Man villains in general.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad, like, at first I thought, like, all the villains will just be there for, like, at the end for the major throwdown. But I'm glad, like, they actually was a great supporting cast in the movie.
Yeah. I still think that if Amazing Spider-Man would have had a third movie, they would have been able to tap into either the Hobgoblin or into Green Goblin, or they could have just went straight Kingpin and Black Cat.
Well, because of this movie, like, it was trending. Like, people want to see Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 3, and Sony might look at that and, like, there might be potential money there.
I mean, Sony still got the rights, so they could, but that's legal troubles. That's contract issues altogether. So who knows? Maybe they could though.
I mean, would you want to see a Spider-Man 4 and an Amazing Spider-Man 3?
I definitely would want to see more of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Same.
Like, I don't care what nobody says. The villains may not have been the best, but Andrew really does help those movies.
Bro, just give me a show with all three going on adventures together.
Kind of like in Young Justice when you had all the Roys together.
Yes, yes. That's such a good example.
Like that episode when all the Roys were together, it was perfect. But nah, when they were talking right before the battle started, and Andrew started feeling down, and then Toby was like, "No, man, you're amazing.
You're amazing."
I was sitting there like, "Do it." I was really turning into William Dafoe. Do it. Like, I really wanted to just be like, just say it. Just say it with us. You're the Amazing Spider-Man. I really wanted to say it. I really wanted
Like, I didn't want to laugh at this, but when Toby got stabbed by Green Goblin.
Listen, that was okay. Like I guess we got to touch on that because they legit just stopped caring. I get it's the end of the movie. I get it. It is. They could have at least put a puncture hole in the suit. We saw the front and back of the suit. There was no blood. There was no hole.
Oh man! But it was funny because he was like, "I mean, bro, this ain't my first time getting stabbed."
Which is
it's
true.
Okay.
But still, though, it was like it's your first time lying about it. Like, the three Spider-Man together really just kind of like in a way it touches on the actors and how they all like handle stuff because Toby was like they were all in their own characters. Like Toby was the older guy who's been through a whole lot of shit and it's like. He said that with Gwen, with Andrew, about like like, oh, do you have somebody special? Like, yeah, it was, yeah, it was stressful, stressful as fuck, but he made it work, kind of. It's still kind of stressful. What about you? Nah, bro, like Andrew's like that middle-aged guy, like I'm middle-aged, like he's in his 30s. Just like what about you? I'm still single at 30. These bitches ain't shit.
Well, my question is now though, is like since no one knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, will he be in any more future MCU titles?
Yeah, all I gotta do is reintroduce himself to the other heroes. He was about to do it with MJ, but he saw that she would be safer without him. So
yeah, but I mean, I kind of hope like that doesn't happen for a while. I kind of want him to go on as like, cause Spider-Man kind of always had his little bubble. I kind of want maybe like 1 or 2 movies of just him in his bubble.
Hey, now he can go back and meet Daredevil. But yeah, that's actually what the title comes in at, though.
What?
He had no way home. He had to go get his own home.
This is true.
Also, hilarious enough, one of the top 15 smartest characters. Yeah, I'll say Parker's about top 15 smartest characters. It's getting a GED. Shouts to DL Hughley.
Oh
boy.
My god! And you know what's crazy? Like we just tried to end this shit like 10 minutes ago, and we're still. This shows how much you really like this movie. Like we tried to end this.
First of all, Spider-Man is my second favorite fictional character ever, and my favorite superhero ever. So yes, but and this is why like it's so much you can do with his character. Like even if you bring in the other characters, it's great. Not to mention how he interacts with other heroes. That's always the highlight. Like that's the thing that Tom has done best. He's really shown how Spider-Man is connected to these other heroes. Like the relationship between him and Iron Man was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like even when he still thinks about Iron Man, like when he still thinks about Tony in this one, you know what I'm saying? It's still like he's still trying to be like fill that like those shoes. So that's great. When he's working with Strange, it's kind of like his relationship with Wolverine, just less violent.
Well, hey guys, thank you for like listening to us to this gush about the Spider-Man movie. This low key, we said it wasn't gonna be a podcast, but low key became like a mini podcast. But we just really enjoyed the movie. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah,
you gave it a 9. I gave it a 9.5. It's still A's.
I don't do half numbers, but yeah, I don't know. It's like if you like, obviously put your thoughts about the movie in the comment section because I mean, I haven't heard a bad review yet, and I'm like naturally they're gonna be out there because some people are just sad. But yeah, tell us like what you think about the movie, what you want to see in the future. You know what I'm saying? How do you think, Tom would do as symbiote Spider-Man? And yeah, that's about it. So amazing movie, did very well. Hopefully we can have a return to at least Andrew. And I think Toby realized, he's like, nah, this shit done for me.
The moment he hurt his back, he's like, yeah, now I'm done.
Yeah. The second they forgot to edit in him getting stabbed, I'm pretty sure they want to be like, hey, can we do one more shot, bitch? I'm done. So yeah, if you want to see more Garfield with the Amazing Spider-Man 3, which I mean, hey, why not? Let us know in the comment section too. Just want to say, be sure if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, blah, 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 YouTube stuff. Curtis, any last word?
All right, and remember, everybody, please make sure you actually call the college back before you ask a wizard to brainwash the whole entire world.
That was hilarious. And that lady went to go, like, talk trash to Octavius.
Right?
Shouts to the aunties.
But, all right, y'all. Peace.
Oh, you ain't do the line.
That technically was the line.
But
I feel like it'd be a terrible taste to do the Black Clover My Hero thing when this is Spider-Man focus.
Yeah, I guess so. So everybody just remember, have a great day.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.